often say to my clients, look, do you want to be right or do you want to be effective? And when it comes to working with people, and that's the only way you're going to get anything done, it's far better to make a choice to be effective. Well, this gives you a tool for being much more effective with people. Again, not in a manipulative way, but in a way in which you are speaking their language, or you're speaking to them in a manner where what they find important is part of the conversation.
Laverne, let me ask you, do you have any questions or comments or thoughts, anything that's coming up for you that you'd like addressed before we get to the wrap up time?
No specific questions. The value in this, just the way, you guys are phrasing it now at the end, that I know my why, how, and what is, eye-opening. I think, it is something that'd be beneficial to know about, the family and leaderships and stuff like that. Like you're saying, not to manipulate people or anything else, but to understand where everybody's coming from. And, I mean, you've seen it, the personalities and everything vary greatly amongst different people in the family. And I think, everybody, it can create conflicts here and there, and also a lot of good resolution. But to understand where everybody's coming from and the reasons behind the way they're going about things, it would make a lot more sense. And I think create, better teamwork and everything amongst the family and leadership.
Yeah, a while ago, we did the DISC, profile for everybody. And that was helpful. I would say, I'd almost think about this as the difference between 2D and 3D. And it was a 2D look at somebody to know their DIS, S and C. But when you start to know it from that standpoint of the why, how, and what, you really start to get 3D, because that whole decision process, that whole thinking process comes through. Does that sound right, Gary?
Well, so your DISC is awesome. Myers-Briggs is awesome. Colby's awesome. Those are great assessments, but those are how you take action. The why is why you take action. And so if you don't know your why, you're not starting at the right level. It's like a GPS. If you don't know where you are and you're just talking about where you want to go, you don't have enough information to get there. And so this is the starting point. The DISC is not the starting point. It's a place along the journey. And so once you now look at your DISC from the perspective of your why, how, and what, you'll see it totally differently. So it was great that you were able to do the DISC. This will make it much more, it'll give you more depth.
Great.
And it's easy.
Any last comments, Chris, Gary, anything this was phenomenal. And you did a great job of, I didn't give you a lot of time, but it was really neat to see how that went through. And I think that was helpful for everybody. If they wanted to do this themselves, or they wanted to do this with their family business, obviously, contact Chris, contact myself. You can go to the Y Institute directly. There's resources out there to do that. Why don't, each of you take a second, wrap up, and then tell people how they can reach you. That would be great.
So last thing I would say on that is, you must know them in order to lead them. And this will give you that tool to really get to know them. And so if you want to get a hold of me, the best way would be through the Y Institute. You can find me on LinkedIn too, but just go to the Y. My recommendation is your first step would be to talk to either Michael or Chris and work with them to discover your why. And I'll be there if you need me, but these guys are experts as well. I mean, they're the experts in the coaching. I'm the expert in developing the why. These are the guys you really want to work with in your business. And they can help you in discovering your why, your how, and your what, just like we did today for Laverne. And Laverne, thank you for letting me walk you through that process. I know you didn't know where we were going to go, but I appreciate your being ready and able to and willing to do it.
No, I appreciate it. And, it was very beneficial to myself. And I think, to everybody that will be watching this, it's beneficial just to see how that process works and taking me through it. I appreciate it. As far as my contact information, anybody could reach out to me on LinkedIn, or if you want to send me an email, it's laverne@sesslerwrecking.com. Any of that'll work. So
Great.
thank you, guys.
And thank you for allowing me to be here. LinkedIn is probably the best way to find me. I'm happy to speak with anybody about, so what do you do with this why, how, and what stuff inside a company to help build a great culture? Many of you have probably heard the notion that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And this is an essential first step in really building out a great culture and putting people in the right seats and enabling them to thrive. That's really, I think, the most significant benefit of utilizing this tool, and then complementing it, as Gary said, with DISC or Myers-Briggs or whatever it is a great additional tool. But this is really the thing that will help you understand yourself and your people, so that you and they can thrive in doing what you're doing. So I strongly encourage you to, go to the Y Institute. But if you want to reach me, LinkedIn is great, or get in touch with Michael. So thanks for having us. Appreciate being here.
Beautiful. Thank you.